Hello, and welcome to my new webinar series geared towards the questions that partners are asking and where Microsoft can help. In this episode, we're going to be discussing business applications, and I'm delighted to be joined by Bruce Nicholson, a business application architect in One Commercial Partner at Microsoft. Bruce, would you like to give a brief introduction?
Hi Dan, everyone out there. I'll keep it short. I've been in and seen the Microsoft Business Applications arena change over the last 15 years or so, and done this in various roles, from developer to director, and now, as you say, as an architect, helping our partners be successful within business applications.
Thanks, Bruce. So help me understand exactly what's meant by business applications. Are we talking Office, Dynamics, or something else? I know a little bit about CRM and how we effectively use it to keep track of customer engagements, but I'm assuming there's lots more to this.
In some respects, it's really straightforward. At the risk of oversimplifying it, we often refer to our three clouds. Azure provides the infrastructure and platform capabilities. Office 365, including Windows 10 now, provides productivity and collaboration capabilities. And business applications is really the front and back office capabilities around all things customer, product, and employee. Anything with a business process, essentially. We've done a great job recently of decomposing what was complex and behemoth CRM and ERP systems into discrete and simple applications. So now, when you hear Microsoft Business Applications, we're really talking about marketing, sales, customer and field service, retail, finance operations, as well as talent, and they really do what it says on the tin.
Okay, so I know there are a number of companies and products that provide similar capabilities. So let me be controversial. Why Microsoft?
This is a tricky one. As you say, there are a number of great companies and products out there today, and as I mentioned at the beginning, I've seen our offerings continuously mature and expand. I truly believe they are and have been a great choice for customers. This is backed up by the various analysts over the years, with us in numerous business applications leader positions and quadrants, with the likes of Gartner, Forrester, and Nucleus, looking at 2017 alone. That said, our true differentiator is the greater Microsoft capabilities, the one Microsoft you just referred to. We've done a great job recently of natively integrating to our Azure capabilities, such as machine learning and cognitive services, providing things like predictive lead scoring and relationship insights, telling you which opportunities need attention, for example. And then taking that even further and including Office 365 with intelligence in what we call the relationship assistant, identifying actions within your customer interactions, such as within an email, and providing recommended actions through the interface you choose, web, mobile, etc. We've also integrated tightly with LinkedIn, a company we acquired a couple of years ago, creating something around Microsoft Relationship Sales, really making a difference for partners and customers. Infosys is a great example of this. In addition, our strong partner ecosystem, in its breadth across industries and geographies, as well as its depth to the top advisory firms in the world, as well as niche boutique firms and a strong system integrators and ISVs. This provides us a scale no company could really achieve.
Okay, that makes sense and complements the conversations that I've been having in this series. I doubt there's really a one size that fits all, as when I work with small and large companies, their requirements tend to be really different. Can you expand on this for me?
Great question, Dan. The good news is we have a great range of capabilities to suit all needs. Interestingly, though, it's not always about capabilities, and sometimes often more about price, both for software and the time to implement it, services. That said, we're really in the world of democratizing IT, and as such have offerings for those just getting started, called Office Business Apps, such as bookings, to help tiny companies such as salons with things like customer appointments, to Business Central as the next step for those medium-sized businesses. This is tightly integrated to Office, so it can promote high productivity. You can even send a quote, order, invoice directly from within Outlook, for example. Then there's customer engagement, covering all things front office and customer facing. Think marketing, sales, and service. As we originally discussed, that covers a large swathe of the companies out there. And finally, there's finance and operations for our mid-market and enterprise customers, covering the finance, logistics, warehousing, and retail, what we used to call the ERP side of things. Why don't I show you some of the typical sales capabilities that apply to most companies and really leverage the best of Microsoft? Okay, let's take a quick look at the sales capabilities inside Dynamics. Now, this is just going to be a quick introduction just to give you an idea as to what it can do. So I've logged into my Dynamics 365 instance over here, This is one that's been configured more for professional services. So what I'm in is my business development hub, which is obviously where we're going to be doing our salesy bits. And I'm looking at my pro services business development dashboard. I can see here I've got some revenue. I can see the deals I'm winning or losing, my outcomes by practice area. And obviously there's loads more we could do. We could expose some Power BI, really, really powerful stuff. But as this is an introduction, the real thing that Dynamics is about is context and accounts. So let's go into the accounts, and we see here's my list of a whole bunch of accounts, and let's go into Scottish Water because this is the one that I want to take you through. There's a lot of activity on this client, and as you'd expect from a customer relationship management system, I've got a summary of the account. I know the name of the account, who the account manager is, the primary contacts, the phone numbers. There's also a timeline as to emails and activities and so on that's been driven by that. And then on the right, there's some intelligence embedded. This is our relationship assistant. It's going through emails inside Office 365, and it's starting to pick up, oh, you haven't had any activity on one of our opportunities since the 14th of March. And our solution is now recommending actions for us. So it's not just about displaying information now, it's about getting that insight and then even recommending actions, which is really powerful. This UI is also going to adapt itself depending on mobile or web forms. So it's an adaptive interface, which is great. And you can easily configure this to take the information that's most applicable to your business. So a great readable format. I can see the important fields at the top around revenue, the number of employees. I've got an account dashboard as a separate tab in this, which can list all my open opportunities. I can also see my cases so that when I walk in the door, I don't get a surprise about some issue that the customer's raised, and I've got some KPIs that we've added in there as well. There's another tab around account planning. Again, this has been something we've configured, but this is all point and click pieces. So what's my service line penetration? What are our account goals? There's some fact finding pieces as well. And now importantly, our LinkedIn integration. So after Microsoft acquired LinkedIn a number of years ago, there's a really great integration between LinkedIn and our Dynamics 365 platform. This now uses my Sales Navigator license and allows me to see all the information inside that LinkedIn scenarios, and I can see over here all the recommended leads. So I can then go and save that as a lead into Dynamics, and it's going to go and give me a bunch of connections as well, and says, oh, here's all the people that know people inside Scottish Water that I can then chat to, and there's even news, so I can stay on top of everything and see, oh, there's some current vacancies, they've got some updates on that, there might be some other information coming through in the news that helps me to have a better relationship with them. And then lastly, more detailed information around their customer satisfaction, do they let me email them, what are their different preferences, and lastly, all the related information below that, related contacts, social profiles, etc. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to opportunities because I saw there was that one opportunity that hasn't really moved since the 14th of March, and I see it's supposed to close soon. We're going to go into that and see what's in this opportunity. First thing I notice is that we've got a great business process across the top where business applications help us move from identify to profiling the client to profiling the project to qualifying, developing, and eventually closing the deal. So I can see at each step what I need to do. So under profile client, obviously I need to get the client information up to date. Under identify, it's really about identifying the various people inside the company. And right now, what I'm trying to do is get the client organization associated, understand project budget, understand the skills and resources. So I've got a lot of work considering this is something that's supposed to close quite soon. I can see all the information about the opportunity. And again, there's that relationship assistant saying, you haven't had any activity on this opportunity, there's been no emails. This is not a good sign because interactions with the customers really mean that you're progressing forward. Again, I've got some additional detail around the opportunity. I've got the product line items that I can add to it, and some more deep information and integration with LinkedIn, allowing me to see all the members and icebreakers I can do. I can get introduced to people that I'm trying to sell to as well, so I can see who in my organization or my network knows people inside the organization I'm trying to sell to. And again, some more related leads. So really great at being able to give me the information I need. And then there's the LinkedIn company profile, which gives me information just about the company, not around the actual individuals inside it. So that's it, a really super brief look at the sales capabilities inside Dynamics. It's obviously a lot more powerful than that, but if you think about anything, it takes a company from a lead all the way to an order and potentially even cash. That's really what it's good at. What we're really starting to do is embed intelligence into this, and it's a really exciting time. So stay close and you'll see even more exciting stuff coming.
Okay, so let's talk about field services. Now, I know that Microsoft have introduced lots of capability in this space, but I'm not sure that our partners are aware. Could you spend a few moments talking about what we're doing in this area and how it can benefit our partners?
Spot on, Dan. While sales is an area that has been focused on traditionally, it really feels like the most recent area of major focus is in customer service. It's definitely easier for me to show you what I'm talking about. So let me take you through a demo of some of the straightforward capabilities, case management, SLAs, etc. And we can also touch on the more advanced capabilities such as knowledge management, bot integration, and connected field service. So field service time. So field service, as I mentioned, is really around managing the process of booking your field engineers to go and service your customers. That's what it says on the tin. What I'm looking at here is the schedule board. This really allows us to understand the availability and capacity of the various engineers out in the field. I can then schedule those work orders for them to go work on. They can see it on the mobile device, which I'll show you a little bit later in the process, to keep head office informed as well as customers as to where they are. Is it scheduled? Are they on their way? Are they in progress? Is it complete? We're going to go through a very simple scenario, but there are far more advanced scenarios with the connected field service. So being able to connect this to the Internet of Things, have a thing on the internet, monitoring something like an engine, and then automatically creating these work orders that could then either get scheduled by a human or also automatically scheduled so that we are able to really be predictive and proactive in the work that we're doing. We don't need to wait for something to fail. Really exciting stuff. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to just quickly change my view over here. And now I'm actually going to zoom out and have a look at the Seattle area, see all the different work orders that we can now go and schedule. So this is Spencer's day job. He really needs to go in and find the work orders and allocate them to the right resource. So I can see over here, we've got a work order 121 over here for Litware. Go look at the information, and it's very much the CRM stuff you'd expect to see, the account information, the various activities, the billing account, etc. I'm going to go back into my work order view, and I'm actually going to click book, because now what I want to do is go and find the right resource to do this work. Now, what does that really entail? Well, we open up the work order. I'm going to change the priority on this one as well, because obviously this is something that helps me figure out which ones are the most important, and I'm going to make this one urgent. I'm also going to then update the rest of the information in the work order. So start time, end time, give us a couple of days to do this. Let's quickly just go and change the start date. Going to all do it on one day. Propose to start at 8 and finish at about 6. And now I can also go and edit the various service tasks so that the engineer knows what to do on site. It is customizable by them as well, so I can see I've got task 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see how long they should be taking as well, and this allows us to monitor how do we do versus how we expect to. Do things take as long in the field as when we're planning them on the schedule board? Is theory and practice close enough? I now need to go and find the right resource to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is select a role. So the role I really want is a network technician, right? And now that's going to limit the kind of resources available to only network technicians. I don't just want any network technician. I want someone who's proficient in networked systems. So now I'm really going to get the best resources for this job. And I can see over here, by applying that there's really 2 people that can do it, It's Kelly and Romeo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to schedule Kelly to do this, and I can see there it's in there and it's committed for Kelly to now go and do this work. So let's quickly just switch to the mobile app and switch personas to Kelly. So this is Kelly. She's now in the field. She opens her mobile app and she can see all different accounts, the dashboard, work orders, all the different assets that she can give to customers as well. So books and engineering assets, as well as maps. What we're going to do though is we're going to open up the bookings, and I can see there's the booking that I've just made for Kelly, work order 221 to 305 Harrison Street. She opens that up. She can see all the information we just captured. And now she can also look at a map to go and see exactly where she needs to get to. She can even look at things like traffic. She can see how long it's going to take to get there. And we can even integrate to things like Glimpse, allowing our customer to see that the engineer is on their way. Right, so once that's done, Kelly's going to go and update the status to traveling. And now that really reports it back to Dynamics 365, and that way we'll know how much time is spent traveling versus how much time is spent on site, and we can start to make sure that the commercial models are aligned to what we're charging our clients. I can also capture the mileage traveled so that when I do my expense claims, I get the right compensation, and then I'm going to say, yeah, that took me 20 minutes. I'm now going to update my booking status to in progress because I'm on site with the customer, and we're going to then now actually go ahead and do the work. So there's my service tasks. I'm able to update my service tasks in whatever order we deem necessary, and then mark the work is complete. Once we've been through everything that we needed to do, I can add some descriptions. I can use my camera on my device, take some photos, and I'm going to save and close it. And then last thing I need to do is get my signature from my customer to actually confirm that I've done everything I said I would. And that, in a nutshell, is the field service capabilities of Dynamics 365. There's a lot more, like we mentioned. There's a connected field service. There's lots of great examples out there. Stay tuned.
Now, I've played a bit with Power Apps, especially as a front end for my social media dashboard, and I keep seeing this thing referring to the Common Data Service. Can you tell me a little more about this and why everyone is getting so excited about it?
So, for a long time, the goal has really been about a single view of the truth, and customers have been asking for this for years. What we've really achieved recently is the ability to abstract applications from data, and that's because of the Common Data Service. When I mentioned the various applications earlier, sales, marketing, service, etc., it's because of the Common Data Service that we're able to achieve this. This truly is revolutionary. It's an exciting time in the way that this integrates with both Power BI, Flow for our ability to send data between these applications. In order to show you how exciting and powerful this capability is, and simple, I'm going to pull together a quick demo and show you how to build out something on the Common Data Service and make it come to life with Power Apps and Flow. Right, now let's show you Power Apps. So I've logged in to web.powerapps.com using a trial and demo environment that I set up from demos.microsoft.com. The first thing you'll notice on this home screen is I've got this mode down in the bottom left, and by default it's Canvas. Canvas mode was the first mode that Power Apps supported, and is essentially a pixel perfect scenario where you're able to drag the controls and screens as you wish, exactly where they want by pixel. That's great, but that's obviously making a lot of assumptions around what screen format you'll be on. The other option, fairly new option and based off Dynamics 365 customer engagement platform, is model driven. And what this allows you to do is you build your forms and business processes and so on exactly as you would basically with customer engagement, and it's a far more adaptive model. It'll adapt the business processes, the screens and the controls in line with the application being used, whether that's on a mobile device or the web client and so on. So Both great experiences. Pick the right one for your scenario. I'm going to show you both. So what you'll see here, we're going to leave it in canvas mode. We want to create our apps. There's a whole bunch of sample apps as well. Go check them out. They'll give you a good idea as to what you can do visually with Power Apps as well. We're definitely not going to build the prettiest app in the world in the next 5 minutes. What we are going to do though, so we're going to start from data because we really want this to connect to some of our existing business data that we have in customer engagement. We'll do some basic contact management. What you'll see here is a whole bunch of different connections options, one of which is Dynamics Customer Engagement. Others are things like Salesforce, SharePoint, OneDrive, the Common Data Service, and many, many, many more. So as you'll see over here, you can choose from all of these different connections, go explore them. I'm going to start with Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement. You can see over here it says, this is the connection you want to create. I'm going to go ahead and click it. Right, it's now showing us all the various data sets available, and I'm going to want to select contact. So I'm going to search for contact, and there it is over there. As you can see, all those other entities that are inside Dynamics are available for me as well. Power App's now getting things ready. It's going to go and build this app for a little while, so we're going to have to give it a couple of seconds. Great, that's done. I'm going to skip the tour, and now what I see is the form that's been built for me by Power Apps. It's displaying all my contacts. I can see over here I've got a browse section. It's got a gallery of all the contacts. It's got a details screen, and we've got an edit screen. Wow, okay, really straightforward. So if we then click on the top record and we go in, we can click on this little arrow, and it's actually going to take us into the details screen. I can see over here I've got my company name, looks a little bit funny, so I'm going to go and delete that, and that's just because of the lookup. We could fix that, but that's going to take a little bit longer than if we just had the time we have on this call. So I can easily see over here there's all the default details, mobile phone, description, address, and so on. I'm able to go and insert a different control. So if I click insert at the top here, you can see over here we can insert new screens if we wanted to add additional scenarios. I can add labels, buttons, text, both HTML, pen input controls, a whole bunch of different options, Power BI tiles, PDF viewer that's currently in experimentation mode, galleries for pictures, both vertical and horizontal, data tables and forms, some great media. So what I'm able to do is natively connect to the device. So for example, we could put the camera control on, take a picture of the contact and upload that into their record in Dynamics CRM, capture audio, all of this using the native Android or iOS device, as well as obviously Windows tablets and so on. I can insert charts and icons as well. So feel free to go and play around with those. Once that's done, though, basically you can then go and test this out. So it was that simple. We're now able to run our app. It takes me to a home screen, which is where I've got all of my contact information. I can go in and view the details. Here's the various information. And I can go and even edit the record. So if I'm going to say I'm meeting with Doug, I quickly want to capture his details because you know what? We're always so bad at that. I've updated that mobile phone number, and I'm going to save that, and guess what? That's going to go all the way back into the Dynamics Customer Engagement database, and you've just built a really quick app that allows people on the move to update contact information from a mobile app in a real powerful way. So that done, we're going to move across back to the Power App, and I'm quickly going to show you how to create a model-driven Power App. So over here we can see we want to start with modeling our data. We then want to create some business processes. We're then going to generate our application. So we already have some data inside Dynamics. So we're going to go and create a common database environment. We're just going to call that Power App environment. We're going to keep it in its trial mode. We're going to take a little while to create that database. we're going to create it in Great British Pounds, and we like English. We, yes, definitely want the sample apps and data just so we can see what it's doing. And it's now going to go and create this database on the Common Data Service. Let's give that a couple of seconds, and that is done. So let's create our new app. Hold on, so our database is going to take a little bit longer to get together. It's being provisioned. Let's give it a couple of seconds. Right, let's go give that another try. Still being built, needs another couple of seconds. Right, our database is now there, so we can go and try and create our app again. Here we go. So app designer, we're going to call it Basic Contact Manager. We're going to use the default image. We're going to use the unified interface. And we're going to use an existing solution to create the app as well. Right, so we're going to just stick it in our default solution. This is just a container. And we will go and choose a sitemap as well. Let's go and we'll configure that later. Right. It's now generating our model-driven solution. In our sitemap, we're just going to make it really simple. It's just going to have context, but you could have all the different entities you want. So in our area, we're going to call it Contact Manager. And then we're going to have one entity, and it's going to be, you guessed it, contact. There it is. Okay, we're going to save that. We then want to validate it. And then we're going to publish it. And then we'll have a model-driven Power App to do some basic contact management. There we go. Publish it. Publishing. Right, well, this is a very rudimentary app. I encourage you to go and look for more information. There's some really good customer stories out there. If you walk into a Metro Bank in the United Kingdom, when they meet and greet you, that's a Power App that allows you to tell them what service you'd like. They then tell you when it's available, and if there's someone that's not available right then, and maybe you'd have to wait 15 minutes, you can go outside, continue with your shopping, and it'll message you when it's time for your appointment as well. So a really great experience, great for the employees, great for the customers, etc. So go check out what's possible. This has just been a simple example. We've now published our app, so we're going to save it again. That was the sitemap. We're now going to validate the app. It's given me a warning that's basically saying, you know what, it doesn't reference a single form, but that's fine. We can do all of them, or we could just pick one. Let's go and we'll just publish it as is. Right. If we now go back into our Power Apps, and you can see over here, I've got my basic contact management app. And if I click play, fingers crossed, it's going to open our basic contact management app. And we could then open that with the Dynamics app on our mobile device. We can open it through the web browsers supported, and it'll provide a much more adaptive experience that will really allow you to have a great user experience. Oh, I think we've moved a bit too quickly, so let's just open that again. And there we go. I can see my sitemap coming together. Here it is, my basic contact manager. Here's my contacts, and I'm now basically able to get a list of these contacts. I can go and do my contact management. I can add some business processes to this. I could get a lot more complex, but for the purposes of today, it was really about creating a simple app that's going to allow me to edit my contacts. It's going to be adaptive on iOS, Android, through web interfaces. And that is us. And there we go. So I can see all my data coming out of the Common Data Service, linked to my Dynamics Customer Engagement solution. This would render very differently on a mobile as it would on the web interface. And just as I could with my Canvas-driven app, I'm able to go and update the various pieces of information. It's going to automatically save. And you've just seen how to very quickly create a basic Canvas-driven app or model-driven app. Go play around with it. The Common Data Service is extremely powerful. If we want to take this to the next level, we could easily go and add some flows to it. So really, really great to then extend this. We could say that if someone's updated my contact, I want to get a notification, or I want to put a button on my Power App that allows a certain flow to start. So I strongly encourage you to go and check out Flow as well. It's extremely powerful, and the amount that you can achieve with it is incredible. So there's an example of a Power App button you can initiate, some approval emails, or if you just want to go and create a blank flow, you can start from blank as well. I'll show you basically a lot of the different connections. And then leave it to you to go play around. But look at this. So lots in Office, OneDrive, SharePoint, Twitter, all sorts. There's tons. The world is really your oyster. And I encourage you to even go and create your own connectors as well. This allows you to connect Dynamics 365 to all the rest of our amazingly mature estate. Cool. And that is the Power App demo done.
Okay, so we're 10 days into the GDPR regulation taking effect. You're talking about all of this data in CRM and the Common Data Service. Can you tell me a little more about how GDPR affects business apps? I mean, surely everything being in one place makes management that much easier.
Sure, that much easier. I mean, GDPR has only been around 10 days, so who knows? But as Brad Smith says, we really are committed as Microsoft to helping our customers and partners through this world of GDPR. As we know, there's a number of different steps around GDPR: discover, manage, protect, report. One of the initial challenges we've noticed is around discovery of data inside your finance and operations, your invoices. How long should you retain this information? What's your right to retain that information? Identifying all of those sets of data that you need to understand has potentially GDPR sensitive information. And we've got things like the people discovery tools inside ERP. We've got the compliance center inside our Office 365 and Dynamics clouds. We're really committed to helping you where we can. Unfortunately, this doesn't make you GDPR compliant. That is truly an onus on both the customer and the partner. That said, as I mentioned, we are committed to helping you do that. In addition, we've got some business processes inside Dynamics Customer Engagement that help you through the process of GDPR, so that when a customer is asked for a certain GDPR service, you're able to take them through that business process, stick to the mandated SLAs, and deliver an outcome for both yourself and that customer.
Bruce, that was brilliant. Thank you. Now for my last question. Where can we learn more? What tools are we providing, and who can customers talk to if needed?
Sure, Dan. I mean, one of the biggest challenges we have with Microsoft is the amount of data available and all the different ways to help. So one of the first places to go, as mentioned a number of times in your series, is the UK Partner Concierge. Just a short email away at ukpc@microsoft.com. That said, there's a couple of other great Dynamics 365 resources available, one of which is the Dynamics 365 Learning Portal, which most of you will have access to. The link is inside these resources, and it really is a great tool to go and watch in-depth videos on all things Dynamics 365. It has a great thing called Learning Paths, so you can pick out what you want, and it'll step you through each individual resource and asset available. The other thing that's available, and I strongly encourage you to do, is go get your hands dirty. Go to trials.dynamics.com, sign up for the ones that you're most interested in, go see how powerful it is, go see how easy it is, and go see the difference it can make for your customers.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Bruce, thank you for taking the time to be with us today and explain how partners can begin benefiting from our business application offerings. I hope that our listeners have enjoyed the session and would remind you all, this is driven by you. This is a platform to discuss the questions you may have on the technologies and processes that you consume. So let me know what you want to hear by reaching out to me on social media, and I will source the experts to make it happen.